Yep.
Welcome, everyone, to taking time out from their day to day. Before we begin, I'd like to have Sharon run through some of the rules for today so that we know we're all on the same page.
Okay. First one is that we are being recorded here. So if you don't want to be recorded, please do not stop your video, as Keith would suggest. Keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking. We're going to present a lot of information fast and furiously to you, but I will put it all in the chat. The important things in the chat, obviously, we hope all of it's going to be important to you, but the links and information that that is shared by Jim Duke, we will put in the chat. So I'm Sharon Travick. I'm Public Image Chair for the district and also immediate past president of Maumee Rotary. With us today is Jim Duke, who is the Chief of Staff and DGND, as you all know, and of course Keith. And Keith is going to start us off.
Thank you again for taking the time out from your day. I know we'll have a number of people on tonight at 8 o'clock. The meeting tonight at 8 o'clock will not be a repeat of this meeting. It will be a fresh meeting, but only one of those you have to be at. It'll be the same information, but it will be going on at 8 o'clock tonight. I have, since we started our year, actually before the Rotary year, I've been very much involved because of what I do in radio, talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. I have dealt with a number of health commissioners in our area. I have dealt with, of course, Beth Schweitzer from Seneca County. I've also worked with Ben Beatty. Ben used to be the Wood County Health Commissioner. He's now with Bowling Green State University. Ben Robison is the Wood County Board of Health Director. Kareem Baroudi is the Hancock County Board of Health Commissioner. I have talked with each of them on a regular basis about everything going on, from vaccines to number of cases to mass vaccination clinics. I've also been very much in tune with Dr. Bill Coase. Dr. Coase is basically the head physician at the Blanchard Valley Health System in Findlay. Very, very much aware of everything that's going on in terms of what's coming down the pike and where we are. As of today, in Ohio alone, there have been 1 million cases of COVID-19. That has resulted in 18,340 deaths. In Ohio, as of today, 1.6 million people have been fully vaccinated. That's 14% of the people in Ohio. 2.8 million have had at least one shot. That's 25%. So the bottom line is there are a lot of people that yet need to be vaccinated. As you know, when it kicked off, it started off with those that were of the age of 80 plus. It went down from there to 65, then 60 and 50. And as of March 29th, it will go to 16 and above. Because of that, the state has developed a series of mass vaccination locations. There are 15 of them in the state of Ohio. In our district, we have 3. They will be in Lima, in Maumee at the Lucas County Rec Center, and in Mansfield. There will also be 2 mobile clinics in our district, one run by Ohio Northern University in Ada, and then one in the Mansfield area as well. This is a golden opportunity for us. About a week and a half ago, it hit me. I was thinking, why are we not involved? Why are we not mobilizing the 3,300 Rotarians that we have in our district? For those I'm speaking to the choir, I know right now, but the number of polio cases that we have helped with, we launched Polio Plus in 1985. Since 1979, when we got started in the business of vaccinations, Rotarians have vaccinated 2.5 billion people around the world. When we started Polio Plus, 350,000 cases. As of this month, we're down to about 100 cases. So we've obviously had a big impact. This vaccine is different. You must be registered to be able to give the vaccine. You must be a doctor. You must be an EMT, a nurse, a vet, a dentist. Any number of people can actually be able to give the vaccine. But there are hundreds and hundreds of people needed to help coordinate these mass vaccination sites. And besides the mass vaccination sites down the road, there will be other smaller opportunities for our people to do something. This is in the DNA of who we are. And what I decided I wanted to do is to begin a program, and this is our district. This is not something coming down the pike from Chicago. This is something that we're doing in our district. And that is to be able to get as many people as we can that want to take part in helping out with these mass vac sites and helping out in terms of all the different jobs that come with it. And what that is these are jobs like, in some cases, traffic control, helping people fill out the paperwork they need to fill out, getting people into the person who's going to be giving the vaccine, helping them with any paperwork or any other information they need, getting those people into the room where they have to sit and wait for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on the vaccine, and then letting them get out and everyone safely. So it's all one consistent, constant flow. For those of you that have had the opportunity to attend any vaccination clinic, I would imagine most of you have seen that it's a pretty smooth thing if it's done right. I was in Findlay a week ago where they had 2,000 doses and it was like clockwork. And I was in Tiffin last Friday, 600 doses, just like clockwork. Rotarians were helping on that particular one. So what we're going to be doing, we met Jim Duke, Sharon, Deb Cheney. We met last week with some key people in Hancock County because they seem to be doing it the right way. And not to say that people are not doing it the right way elsewhere, but they did it in such a way that they were able to talk to us on a Zoom call and explain how they did it and what we needed to do. And there's a process, a very specific process by which you can get registered to be able to take part in these. If for no other reason is that you then become insured to make sure that you're under a umbrella insurance plan with the state to help out. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jim Duke, and Jim is going to explain the process by which Rotarians will do this. And keep this in mind that when we're done with this, I'm going to be explaining what I'm asking you to do when we're through here. So Jim, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Just like Keith mentioned, we just can't show up at these sites. So we have to actually be in a database. Then we have to let them know that we're in this database, and then they can actually pick us from there, and it sort of works like that. But so you sort of have to know where to go to get your name registered to be able to volunteer at these mass sites. So I'm actually going to share my screen and walk you guys through this. So hopefully, does that come up where it says Ohio Responds Volunteer Registry? Got it? Okay, good. So hopefully Sharon's going to actually put that address in the chat box so you'll be able to actually have that address. But this is the actual site that you would go to actually register to be put on the list. And I'm not going to go through every single line item because we know our names and addresses and stuff like that. But there's a few key points that you have to know to go through this. And you sort of can get tripped up if you don't follow them closely. So when you click on register, like I did, just off the right-hand side, you're going to get a registration page. And the very first choice you're going to have off the left-hand side where it says add organizations, this may be the most important field of the whole form. So when you click on that, you're going to get a whole bunch of opportunities to actually put your name on a list to volunteer. And the one we're looking for is at the very top. It says medical reserve, core organizations. That's what we're actually looking for. And that arrow means that there's a drop down. So when you go down there, as you can see, there's these MRCs for individual counties, and you can pick more than one. So for example, we know that the Lucas County Rec Center is a mass site, and that's actually in Lucas County. So you would come down there and you would click Lucas County. So that's one. And you can also pick more than one county. So we know Allen County, that's probably should have started at the top, but Allen County is also another one. And then actually the third one, is it Richmond or Richland? Does anybody know?
It is Richland County,
That's what I thought. So
Mansfield.
yeah, so you'd come down here and then you'd pick the last one, and then you'd basically select. And what that's basically saying is you're putting your name on a list that you're going to be available to volunteer to help out in these 3 counties. So that's a very important field for this whole form. Username, password, we're not going to go into that. You can read all this, disclaimer stuff. When you get down here past your name, there's another important field, and it's actually your occupation type. These are the 2 fields I want to cover because these are the most important. You're going to select medical or non-medical. Non-medical is going to be, are you going to be passing out water? Are you going to be directing traffic? Are you going to be just, checking people in the waiting areas? Something non-medical related. That's where you would check that non-medical. Or if you do have credentials, if you're able to actually give someone a vaccine or you're able to take medical information, you can click medical. And as you can see, there's some more fields that populate down below and you can select that. So those are the 2 fields that are most important in this whole process. Selecting the MRC and selecting the counties that you want to actually volunteer in. And right now we're asking that you volunteer in either Lucas, Allen, or Richland County. And then also that you select whether you're medical or non-medical. My guess is most of us would probably select non-medical I'm just guessing with that, but I'm not going to go through this entire registration process. It's important that you have the address where to go, and it's important that you fill out those 2 fields correctly. The rest of the stuff, username, password, your name, address, stuff like that. I mean, we all know that, but so that's basically the registration process in a nutshell. Once you get that, you should get an email confirmation that you are registered and they're in your database. So that pretty much sums it up. Unless Sharon, do you have anything else that I missed on that? Okay.
I do want to make mention, for purposes of us starting our project off, you can select one of those 3 counties. You don't have to select all 3 counties unless you like to drive around a lot. And if you do, then feel free. But we don't want to overburden people. These mass vaccination clinics will be running till probably June or July. So this is not a huge long-term commitment that we are asking people to do. You may, if you sign up, may never get called in to do one, or you may get called in a lot. I can tell you from what we were told, Chad Masters from Hancock County told us the other day, Allen County down there, Lima, the person involved in organizing that mass vaccination clinic, is scrambling for help. There are thousands and thousands of people that may be showing up to these. And so they need to make sure that they have everything staffed. The last thing they want to do is to have all these people come and people standing and waiting and get, especially when it gets hot outside, if they have to be outside, passing out, like Jim said, passing out water. These are all basic job functions. We have had made up a series of these just to see how they're going to work out. We have some bright orange vests that will say COVID Coalition and has the Rotary logo on it. And those will get people to wear because we want to identify them as who we are. So what the process will be, just so you get it, what we're asking all of you to do as presidents is in the next day, you will receive an email from one of us that will tell you all the links that were spoken about. You can also get them in the chat box. You will then be asked to get to your clubs, talk to your clubs, give them the same information that we've given you, and be able to get them involved and get them registered. Because as we get closer to the opening of these clinics, it's going to be crucial that we have as many people registered as possible, because we are letting the word out to the people running these clinics that there are Rotarians in our district that are willing to help, and they will want you. Jim, go ahead and go through the whole flow work of how, let me just say, if you register on Ohio Responds, we don't know that. We need to find out what Rotarians signed up. And so Jim, go ahead and explain that.
So just like he said, so let's say that Lucas County, they need 20 people to show up. You may have registered, but we don't know that you registered. So it's important that we track who's registered. And the way we're going to do that is each club president or each club PE is going to send me personally an email, and Sharon's going to put my email address up in the chat. And so you'll send me an email.
I think we have someone, hang on a second.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I think it's maybe Chef Janie.
Sorry.
We'll wait for Deb to find the mute button there.
I was getting Jim's email, so I couldn't mute her.
Okay.
So essentially, send me an email. Essentially, what I'm looking for is how many people have registered, but it's also important which county they registered in. So we don't want to tell Allen County that we have 20 people available when we really don't. So it's important that we get a head count of how many people registered in Allen County, how many people registered in Richland County, and how many people actually registered in Lucas County. So those numbers are really important to us. So Sharon put my email address up there in the chat box. For those of you that like to log on to DACDB, my email's on there as well. So you probably have a week or so. Hopefully by the end of next week, I'll be looking for an email from either the club president or the club PE on your status of who's volunteered and what counties they've actually volunteered in.
And
then I'll compile all that information and get it out there.
And just because you volunteer doesn't mean that you're saying, I'm ready to go whenever. We all have jobs. Some of us have jobs. And that a lot of these vaccination clinics work in shifts, where you'll have a shift in the morning, and then you'll have a shift in the afternoon, like from 12 until 4 or something like that. It's like when you volunteer, if you've ever have volunteered for the Red Cross, helping to run a blood bank and do that. They will call you up and say, hey, here's what we got. Can you help us out? And you say yes or you say no. Keep in mind too, I want to say this is a short-term process. We will get people vaccinated as quickly as we can, and then after that, we will be done for the most part doing that. But it is so important that we sit here since last year on Zoom meetings and haven't had the ability to go do anything. This is our chance. This is our time to become people of action. This is our time to make a difference. This is our time to show the people that we have support, the fundraisers that we do, that we are there for them. And if you have been to a vaccination clinic, or you have already gotten your vaccine, like many of us already have, there is a feeling of relief when you first get it. It is a wonderful, not always, but it is an ability for you to be part of those people's lives, because everyone's lives have been disrupted for the last year, and you're giving them hope that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that they're going to be okay, and life can get back to whatever kind of normal it's going to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up for any questions that you might have. And I think it would be a good opportunity. I promised I was going to make this 1/2 hour. So you've got about 9 minutes to go. If anyone has questions, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask, and if you could give your name and the club that you're with, just because we have multiple screens here, that would be great. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I registered and they send an email and they say, are you available Monday, no, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think, and half days, full day. So I responded that with questions, and I have not heard back. For myself, I was unsure, Keith, of what you said. Some Wednesdays I'm available and some I'm not.
Just because you check those boxes to tell them you're available on Monday or Wednesday, doesn't mean that you're locking yourself in.
Yeah.
They just need to get an idea of who is open and who is not.
I also asked if there was a streamlined way that we could have a block of 10 on a particular Saturday for the Lima Club to work. And I haven't heard back. It sounds like that's not a possibility.
I think a lot of this will come into focus over the next 2 weeks. This is all new. The mass vaccination clinics were just announced about a week to 2 weeks ago in terms of how it's all going to happen. And now it's a matter of getting that all together. But my intent is to let the media know that we're there. I have good contacts with John Monk over Channel 11 that would love to do a story on this and how Rotary is getting involved. And when other people hear that, people that work in the mass vaccination clinics, I guarantee we'll probably start to get calls for help. I think Brian Hartzell had a question. Brian, did you have one?
Yes, I did, Keith. You mentioned earlier that there are going to be some mobile vans, and you piqued my interest when you said mobile van out of Mansfield. We have been working with our local village council, and they have been reaching in turn out to university hospitals in Ashland, University Samaritan, to try to encourage them to set up a mass vaccination clinic down here in Loudonville, which would cover the southern half of Ashland County and it also covered parts of Knox County, Holmes County, and southeastern Richland County. Do you have any feedback as to when those mobile vans might be put into service?
The information I have about the mobile vans, let me get down to Mansfield. There is going to be a mobile van there. It's unlike the one I have in Ada, which is basically it's dictated as to what it is and who's running it. So I don't know who is running the actual Mansfield mobile unit, but there must be a town down there, and it may even be Mansfield that has one. For instance, the city of Findlay is in fact, we were very much involved, is going to be getting a mobile unit, not for this, but for other things. But Ada at ONU has one, and keep in mind they have a very strong pharmacy group there, and so that's why they're getting involved. So who's involved in Mansfield at this point, Brian? I don't know, but I will certainly find out. Any other questions? Yes, Cindy Wood.
I'm kind of echoing what Esther said, and I was looking at the spreadsheet or the sign on. Are we signing up as a group and an entity, or do we need to kind of encourage each Rotarian to go on and sign up as a part of the Rotary Club? And I'm asking that because I'm thinking, okay, should I do the Qualtrics survey, or Scott and I do a survey, some sort of online survey tool that says who is available to serve on this core and will react as needed? Or does each person need to be instructed tomorrow at our club to go on and sign up?
What I would answer that, Cindy, is to be able to say that we need to get, in order for someone to take part in a state run vaccine program, they must register there at the state site. However, there will need to be some logistical coordination going on within our clubs or within a area of clubs that say, okay, hey, I just found out that Mansfield needs 30 people for next Tuesday. We need 15 in the morning and 15 in the afternoon. Let's see who's already registered and who would be willing. So it's going to take some calling, and it's going to take some talking to people. And you, like when you go give blood, you have those diehards that are there all the time. And then you have others that say, you know, I'll be there, and yeah, like Jim. Yeah.
So real quick, I'm going to share this might answer your question. I'm going to share my screen real quick one more time. So the registration page that you guys are looking at right here says liability protection. So when you check that, you're going to get some training. It says a list of approved training opportunities can be found on, you know, yada, yada, yada. So in order for you to receive liability coverage, you have to have a very short training and then maintain that training. If you just submitted a group of people to the Ohio to the site, all those people wouldn't get that training, so they would miss out on that liability coverage. So that's why every individual that wants to actually volunteer needs to sign up on this page.
Does that answer your question, Cindy? Okay. Anybody else have questions? Yes, Sharon.
I had to unmute myself. I just wanted to mention that some of the training is what they call just-in-time training. So that training would occur right before you start work. So even though your shift may start at 11, you may be told to arrive at 10:30 to get the just-in-time training. And then that training follows you if you go to another site.
Deb Cheney, I believe, had a question.
Keith, I just wanted to respond to Esther also in that Zoom call we had the other day. They were telling us that Kathy from the Lima area from Allen County, Esther, it sounds like she's pretty overwhelmed. So that's probably why you haven't heard back yet. So I think they're still trying to put their ducks in a row, but keep my eye on the emails. I think you will get one. Would you agree, Keith?
Yes, we had talked about that before, that we know that they're really in need. And this is going to take some time, but just imagine if you're running that group, let's say in Lima, and all of a sudden you hear that you have 30 Rotarians that are trained in particular job functions and cross-trained to be able to say, hey, can you come and help us? We're doing this. It makes their job so much easier to be able to do it. And so that's what my hope is that we're going to be known in these groups as people who are ready to do work, and they don't have to train everybody every single day because they've got, you know, they have fresh people in all the time. Any other questions? Yes, John Hill.
While you've been talking, I've been trying to register, and it comes up required field, please select an organization. Mm-hmm. So when I go in to add an organization, which one am I to select?
The Medical Reserve Corps. Should be the top one.
It doesn't, the box is not available for me.
Okay.
I think it's by your county.
What's that?
It's by your county. If you go down, it says like.
Well, I selected Richland County, or do you? And I selected Erie County, and it was the same either way. So I'm not exactly sure what.
Maybe it knows something about you that.
Maybe.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I'll make a 3 or 4 hour drive just to your house, and I'll explain it to you. How's that?
Thank you. 3 or 4 hour drive, huh? 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, no problem.
Yeah, and it could be there are things here that this is all new to us. Please understand. There are going to be glitches that we don't know about, and we're going to find out. and we're going to work those out.
Hey, I survived Global Grant. I can survive this. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? I'm already past the time that I said we were going to do. So, but I don't want to leave you all hanging if anyone has any questions. If anyone has anything, speak up, like unmute and speak up. If not, going once, going twice. All right. So again, look for an email coming in the next day or so, and that will spell out exactly what we're asking you to do. But I'm asking you to start thinking about getting your clubs mobilized, getting them. We all, if you're a president, you know there are people in your club that are perfect for this. There are also people in your club that just sit back. There are new members that want to do something. We're all saying we want to do something. Well, here's your chance to do something. And so I guess with that, we will, if you want to join us again at 8 o'clock tonight, you're more than welcome to do so. And the link is already been sent out. It's, I believe, Sharon, it's the same link, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it's the same link as what you logged on to for this. So if you have any questions, I guess not. So we'll just turn it off and say thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and you can be a person of action. So we will talk with you all soon. Thank you. Please be safe.